Well, how about them apples? Quite literally speaking, because Lane Hutson has 0 apples in the first 2 games of the NHL season. What's going on, man? The guy's got 0 points and a -1. Please go out there and start scoring. I have him in fantasy. But Lane Hutson, of course, is a very important and very impactful defenseman in the NHL. And one of the best on the Montreal Canadiens, if not the absolute best. As a result, you can say that his contract negotiation situation means that he should probably be getting a pretty reasonably high amount on his next deal. He is unsigned at the time of recording this audio, but coming off the heels of a very good win against the Detroit Red Wings yesterday, we have ourselves an update from the Lane Hutson situation. Let's head over to TVA Sports and read this piece published by Jonathan Bernier earlier this morning. Lane Hutson and the Canadiens in contract negotiations. Is a deal in the works? Now, you can debate whether or not Jonathan Bernier of TVA Sports and Le Journal de Montréal actually has proper sources here, but that doesn't change the fact that this article was written and posted today, and it contains a very interesting update. So I'm going to do my part and leave a link in the description to this piece if you want to go out there and read it yourself. Of course, it's in French. I translated it to English via the Google machine. It originally looked like this, and now it looks like this. So let's go out there and take a look as to what Bernier writes about. By the way, that's Jonathan Bernier, the hockey writer, not Jonathan Bernier, the former goaltender in the National Hockey League. Just thought I'd make a difference there. Let's go out there and read this. Canadiens fans should soon be able to sleep soundly. The Habs and Lane Hutson could very well be close to reaching an agreement. On Thursday night, Ryan Barnes, Lane Hutson's agent, was spotted with Kent Hughes on the runway at Little Caesars Arena. Since Barnes is based in the Detroit area, his presence at the Red Wings' home base seemed unremarkable at first glance. After all, it's not uncommon to see Philippe Lecavalier, Olivier Fortier, or Paul Corbel at the Bell Center. But the fact that the two men appear in the upper reaches of the amphitheater, practically arm in arm, suggests that the talks have re-entered their final sprint. I mean, I love the way that this is written, man. The upper reaches of the amphitheater, arm in arm. What is this, Phantom of the Opera? Moreover, Le Journal was able to learn that the Canadiens GM had a fairly busy morning a few hours after the team's arrival in Chicago, which is still the daily lot of a GM. Yeah, the Habs are playing off against the Blackhawks tomorrow. I'm going to use this as an opportunity to complain about the NHL season one more time because, I mean, look at this. How many games do we have tomorrow on Saturday? We have 16. How many games do we have today on Friday? We have 0. 0 games today, 16 games tomorrow. All 32 NHL teams are playing. And then 1 game on Sunday. Amazing how the NHL goes out there and schedules their games. Why would you not have any games on Friday and have every team playing on Saturday? It's a nightmare for us fantasy hockey folks. Okay, that's like the umpteenth % of hockey fans paying attention to the sport, but still, 0 games to 16 games to 1 game is absolutely tragic, but the Montreal Canadiens are getting involved against Chicago in tomorrow's NHL festivities, so they had to travel over there. They started out in Toronto, then they went to Detroit, and now they're in Chicago, but Kent Hughes seems like he's had a fairly busy morning today. Possibly for a long time, the article says. If that were to be the case, Hutson would be signing an extension. What would the terms of the agreement be? Would it be a 3-year bridge contract or a maximum 8-year agreement that would bring Hutson to full autonomy at the end of the 23-24 season at the age of 30? If Kent Hughes follows the path he took with Cole Caulfield, 8 years, Juraj Slafkovsky, 8 years, and Noah Dobson, whose 8-year contract awarded by the Islanders was ordered by the Canadiens in order to complete the deal, we will have the chance to see the 21-year-old American evolve and age before our eyes. For comparison, Luke Hughes with the Devils and Jackson Lacombe with the Anaheim Ducks both recently signed long-term contracts that will pay them an AAV of 9. it's likely that the latest Calder Trophy winner salary will be in the same range. So, Jonathan Bernier's update here essentially says that Hutson could be on the cusp of signing, and he could be on the cusp of an 8-year, $9-point-something million AAV deal. Marco D'Amico tweeted about this same article here. He said, according to Jonathan Bernier, a deal between Hutson's camp and the Canadiens could be closer. He reports that Kent Hughes and Ryan Barnes of Cortex were seen sitting together last night. I would expect, and this is D'Amico going out there and saying, a long-term deal under or around Dobson's 9.5, if it goes to 8 years. So I think we really should be mentally preparing ourselves for Lane Hutson to absolutely not break the bank. I know it's easy for us to look at guys like Kirill Kaprizov and Kyle Connor and say, hey, these guys were able to get $12 and $17 million AAV. The market is changing, folks. Lane Hutson should be in that Quinn Hughes, Cale Makar territory, so he could get like 12. But really, when you think about it, Lane Hutson had one full season of NHL play. He had 66 points in 82 games, which is amazing. But this year, he's on pace for 0 points in 82 games. Probably should take a discount, right? Okay, no, I'm joking about that. But still, the sample size makes sense for a guy who will not absolutely break that 8-figure barrier and stay in the confines of $9 million a year. 66 points in 82 games is amazing, and Hutson will probably go out there and do more than that over the next few seasons, but if he goes out there and signs let's say a $9.3 million AAV contract, I think that's pretty reasonable for both sides. Montreal has the right to refuse giving Hutson an $11 or a $12 million AAV deal because, hey, you've only played one season. Meanwhile, Hutson's camp can look at it and be like, yeah, well, you think about the range of guys that have signed on Montreal. Suzuki, Caulfield, Slavkovsky, these guys are not making more than 8, so maybe a $9-point-something million AAV deal is a little bit appropriate. Okay, it's only really Laine who's making the most there, 8.7. He's the highest paid guy on the team. Forwards, at least. Noah Dobson is the highest paid defenseman there, so obviously he commands some pretty good pedigree with his play. To be fair, though, as well, I would say that Noah Dobson has looked very strong to open up this NHL campaign, which is probably expected, considering the dollar amount. Same could have been hoped for out of Patrick Laine. Unfortunately, he hasn't really looked all too good to open things up. Lane Hutson, as we had said, is at 0 points, though, so maybe that contributes to the conversation here, too. I jest, but ultimately, the Lane Hutson contract extension could be coming soon, at least according to what Jonathan Bernier went out there and wrote about on TVA Sports. Leave your thoughts in the comment section below. How do you feel about these numbers and how do you feel about these negotiations? If you enjoyed this video, feel free to hit the like button. If you didn't, the dislike button's down there for you as well. Comments help out with the algorithm, so I'd appreciate it if you got involved there. Thoughts in the comments about Lane Hutson and his contract stipulations. I hope you enjoyed this video. Sign and bye.